Back to my channel. I am the Ashley Whitby, the owner of CosmicAsh Cosmetics, and in today's video we'll be talking about our Aurora Body Oil and how we formulate our products using percentages and converting them into grams into our actual recipe. So you will see that we'll have two different body oils for you all, and you can choose whatever one suits the needs for you. I hope you enjoy the video. Welcome back, and if you're new, thank you so much for checking out my channel. We're going to keep it really short and just get right into the video. Here's our Aurora Body Oil that we have featured on our website. If you would like one, you can go and purchase one at this time. They are currently 50% off. These are good for folks who like to wear perfume or have sensitive skin. The first thing we're going to do is wash our hands, sanitize, and put our gloves on. Body oil is a lightweight, nourishing, and protective moisturizer. It can be used with our body butters or alone. Now that we are all gloved up, I'm going to show you the things that you're going to need to make a body oil. You're going to need a scale, a measuring cup, honey powder, colloidal oatmeal, a stick to stir everything together, a funnel. You also don't need to use the ingredients that I used. You can use any carrier oil. Metal foam seed oil, olive oil, and safflower oil. Alcohol, your jar for the body oil, the label that you want to go onto your jar. I get asked a lot of how I write my recipes, so I'm going to do my best to show you how I do it and how I learn to formulate. So the first thing I'm going to do is write out my formulation of all the ingredients I'm going to use in the percentages, and then I'm going to convert them over to get my recipe. So I always know the size of my bottle, so I know that one body oil equals 4 ounces. And in this case, we will work in grams. Grams gives a more accurate measurement than working in ounces to me, and my scale reads grams a lot better than it does ounces, but I just prefer to work in this way. So we do know that 4 ounces equals about 113 grams. You can round or you can go off of this number. I personally went ahead and rounded. So in this case, 4 ounces equals 114 grams. So of 4 ounces, you can literally Google what 4 ounces is how many grams, and that is how I got that number. Or you can do a conversion. I'm only going to make one body oil, so 114 grams makes one 4-ounce jar. I'm going to list out all of my ingredients down below as you see here. We're going to use metal foam seed oil, olive oil, safflower oil. I'm going to use some honey powder and some colloidal oatmeals. This is a new recipe that I am trying for myself for the winter time because my eczema is coming back a little bit. So I wanted to see how this recipe would work and the texture of it. The honey and the oats is oil soluble as well as water soluble, so I wanted to see how these work. So I'm using 20% of metal foam seed oil, I'm using 36% of olive, 40% of safflower seed, 2% of honey, and 2% of oat. All of these percentages must equal 100% for this recipe to work. This is the only thing that has to equal 100%. So you can go in if you want to do metal foam seed at 50%, olive at 50%, you have 100%. You don't have to add anything else. So now that I have 20%, I'm going to take 20% of 114 grams, and this is how I'm going to get my recipe. So 20% of 114 grams is 22.8 grams. 30% of 114 grams, and so forth. So I'm taking 30% of the 114 grams because we know that 114 grams makes up the whole 4-ounce jar or bottle, however you look at it. So you're going to do this for everything. And if you want to substitute something, I'll show you how to do that process as well. But this is just me showing you how I formulate. I do my percentages, I take the percent, and this is how I get the recipe for every product that I make. You can do this for body oils, body butters. This is the way that you should correctly formulate a product, and this is the way that I've learned it as well. And please let me know if this makes sense. If it don't, if I need to explain it differently. But I really hope this helps. I get a lot of questions about how I formulate and what to do. So I hope that this is really helpful and that my handwriting isn't too bad for you all. So now we're going to just get right into it. I'm going to start out measuring everything that I did here on the paper. So I'm going to cut my scale on. Always make sure that your scale is in the correct units. As you see, mine was in ounces, but I changed it over to grams. So I'm going to go ahead and add that 23 grams that I've seen on my paper. You can choose to round or you can do exactly what it says. I typically like to round and do exactly what it says. And with every product, I'm making sure I tear out my scale so that I can get an accurate number. As you see, I over poured a little bit on the safflower oil, so that is totally okay. With this being a body oil, I know that I'll just have a little bit left over. And also, I added my honey powder and my colloidal oat milk. As soon as I added it, I should have stirred it a little bit to make sure it was well combined because it will get clumpy. So if you are making this, add a little bit in at a time just to ensure that you don't have any clumps. As you'll see, I'm going to have to work a little harder just to get those clumps to dissolve, and it will take a little bit of time, but that was my fault. I knew that, and after I put it in, I realized that. But if you make this recipe on your own, just make sure that you put a little bit in at a time and you incorporate it into your mixture. What we'll see here is that it has changed in color, and you can see that most of it has dissolved, but you do see those little chunks. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that those dissolve correctly. For the sake of time, I went and got my whisk to make sure it was blended, and it did blend. As you see, I don't have any clumps. I got everything to work smoothly. It did take me about 10 minutes to get everything blended, but now I'm just going ahead and I'm using my funnel to pour it into my bottle. And I am suspecting that I will have a little bit over because I did over pour my safflower seed oil, so it was just a little bit that was remaining, and that is okay since it is for personal use for myself. I'll go ahead and use that before I use my bottle. I chose to use some honey powder because I know it is a natural antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties, which is great to use in sensitive skin and acne prone skin. And since it is the dry season for me, I thought that this would be perfect to dry moisture into my skin. Same for the oat powder. So as you see here, I'm just showing you the consistency that it is. It's like a normal body oil. The only change is that the color is a lot brighter. You can definitely tell that the honey powder has taken shape, and that is totally okay. I don't have any clumps, so I'm definitely happy with the product and how it has turned out. steps is cleaning off our container. So after I'm done making everything, I like to go ahead and use my alcohol that I have in this bottle and sanitize the jar one more time, just to ensure that there is no oil on the jar and that it is completely sanitized when my customer receive it. It is a nature of habit for me to do it, even though this is for me. I'm just going ahead and cleaning it off because I don't like sticky things, and I just want to make sure that there is no residue and that my space is clean. And also, when you do clean the jars off, it makes it a lot better for the label to stick on properly. Here's the label that I'm going to go ahead and use. And I created these labels on Canva. I really want to make a video to show you how, but it is so hard to record all of my steps when I work in Canva. But if I can get that done, I'll do that for you all. But I created it in Canva, and then I just ordered some labels from Online Labels, and that is how I got this finished product. So since I did have a little bit left over, I'm going to show you how the oil applies. I promise you really don't even need that much. It is definitely lightweight, but I definitely use too much. A little bit goes a long way. But I'm going to put this into my skin. It's better when you do it on wet skin. It absorbs a lot faster, but it will eventually absorb, and it won't be greasy or have a greasy texture. Right now it is shining a little hard because I did use too much. I can just literally take my other hand and put it on my other arm, and it'll be distributed evenly, and you can see how good it is soaking into my skin. And that was exactly what I was looking for, especially with the dry season. And I'm going to pair mine with some body butter, and I'm not going to have any eczema this season. If you don't want to include the honey powder or the colloidal oatmeal, simply just take them out the recipe. You can definitely take off the percentages, add the percentages to something else. So instead of 36, you will have 38%. And then instead of 40, you will have 42%. And you're going to take 42% of the 114 grams, and whatever your new number is, that is how you'll formulate that. And without the honey powder, this is how it looks. So this is how it looks on my website and how I personally sell it. And if you would like to order some, feel free to check out my website. And here's a closer view of how it looks. It is a pump cap. The pump does not get clogged. I definitely think it looks really well, and I'm so excited with the creation. Thank you all for watching. I hope that this was helpful. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video.